to be cooking up some ribs today. Now, I haven't done a rib video before, so I thought I'd do one today. Then what we're going to do with these ribs is, on both sides, we're going to put like a dry rub to really get some seasoning and some flavours into this meat. Put them in a little parcel of tinfoil, pop them in the oven, cook them long and slow, keep them really nice and moist. And then we're going to pull them out and put this sauce all over, like a barbecue sauce, and keep building it up on top. So eventually you end up with these really beautiful, tender, flavoursome ribs. Now my ribs weigh about 2 kilograms. I got them from the butcher's and they've all been prepared. Now also, when you're at the butcher's, ask him to take the membrane off, because that's on the underside. You've got the bony bit. There's like an elastic sort of skin, and it's ideally you want that pulled off because it's a bit chewy when you're sort of eating your ribs, and you don't really want that. Also, by taking that off, it allows to get all those flavours into the meat on the underside as well. So ask your butcher to take the membrane off for you. So what we're going to do now is to go over to the table, and I'm just going to show you the ingredients and the spices and that we're going to use for making this dry rub. So we're going to get on with this dry rub. Now what we're going to do with this rub is rub it on both sides of the meat, so let's make sure we've got some nice flavours going in there. Now I'm going to sort of use these ingredients in front of me, these sort of spices. Obviously you might want to alter it in, you know, if you want something a little bit different, you can vary it and play about with it, because this is a rub, a kind of seasoning, and we're just trying to get the flavours into the meat. So get flavours that you really enjoy. Now what I'm going to use is 1 teaspoon of each of these, light brown sugar, smoked paprika, I've got some onion granules, garlic powder, black pepper, cumin, salt, and then we've got the cayenne pepper. Now I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of each of those, except for the cayenne pepper, which I'm only going to use about 1/3 or maybe 1/2 teaspoon, because that's there to give it a little bit of kick. But you know, if you don't like it too hot or too spicy, just don't go overboard with the cayenne pepper. So I've got the spices there, and as I say, 1 teaspoon of all those, except for this one, the cayenne pepper. I just put like 1/2 teaspoon of that in. Now, because I've got the peppercorns, and get it well mixed up, I'm just going to give it a bash and get it all nicely mixed up so we can rub it on the meat. Now I'm going to move this out of the way now. Have a quick smell. And I'm going to bring me pork ribs back, and we're going to just rub all this dry mix over both sides. What I'm going to do is use this rub, put some in my hand, because you do want to get some on both sides, so we can just sort of try and get half on each side really. And then just try and start rubbing it in, and just carry on doing that, and it'll just make really beautiful flavours. Try and get it around the side as well, around both sides. I think we've rubbed it in that side. Now let's just flip it over. And again I've got the half. So now we've got that rub on both sides, it smells absolutely wonderful. I'm just going to make my little parcel. Obviously I kind of prepared it before, so I'm just going to put that tin foil there, bring that over, tuck that in, and it's good to have a piece just to go on top. So I'm going to put the ribs into a preheated oven, temperature-wise 130 degrees Celsius, 250 Fahrenheit, round about gas mark 1/2 to 1. Now we're going to cook that for 2 hours at this nice low temperature. Halfway through, take the ribs out of the oven, flip them over, and then put them back in for the 2nd hour. So 2 hours, nice low temperature. Now I've cooked the ribs for the first hour at that nice low temperature, 130 degrees Celsius. Now we're just going to pull these out, put it on the table, and then I'm just going to turn the ribs over. So we're doing the other side, and then we carry on cooking for another hour. So let's go over to the table and turn the ribs over. I'm just going to take the tin foil off carefully, because we want to use it again in a minute. We want to kind of reseal it. So let's just open this up. Ooh, what smells beautiful. Now I think I'm going to use this to lift it up, put it on this way around, and then again we can just seal it all back. Oh, it smells lovely, absolutely lovely. So now we've turned it over, sealed it up again with the tin foil, put it back in the oven, same temperature, another hour. So that will be 2 hours in total. So now we've got the ribs back in the oven, cooking away, leave those cooking. What we're going to do is go over to the table and I'm just going to quickly run through the ingredients we're going to use for making this really delicious sauce. Now I've got some light brown sugar, 80 grams, rice wine vinegar, going to use 100 ml, so it's actually 2/3 of that bottle. Soy sauce, the same amount, 100 ml. Then I've got some fresh ginger. Now you need to sort of grate that, and I'm going to use 100 grams of fresh ginger, so it's quite a big piece. 3 good sized cloves of garlic, try and crush that. Dijon mustard, I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of that. And then finally we've got Heinz tomato ketchup. This adds a really good flavour to the whole sauce. Now Heinz ketchup, I'm going to use half that bottle, so I'm going to use 200 ml. So let's go over to the hob, and I'm just going to gently simmer some brown sugar, the light brown sugar, and rice wine vinegar, and get this started. So we're going to get on with cooking this sauce, so I'm just going to switch the pan on. I'm going to use no oil in the pan, just leave it as a dry pan, and what I'm going to do is put the sugar and the rice vinegar in there first. So just let that warm up for a moment, and then we're going to put it straight in. Now what I've done here is I've got a little glass of water measured out to 100 ml, and I've got a glass next to it. So I'm going to tip in the rice vinegar and get the same amount as I've got the water. Oops, there you go, there's 100 ml. So I'm going to put the sugar in, and at the same time I'm going to put that rice vinegar in. Give that a stir. Now what you want to do is wait until the sugar has melted. Now I've got mine on a fairly low heat, and I'm going to leave it sort of bubbling away gently. So I've had the sugar and the rice wine cooking for about 7, nearly 8 minutes. So I'm going to put in the ginger, and also just going to put the garlic in there as well. Give that a stir. You can turn that up a little bit, just to get it, keep it bubbling really, just to get those flavours out. So since I did that ginger and the cloves of garlic, I left it for about another 8 minutes just to really get those flavours out of there. Now I'm going to start adding the rest of it, which is going to be tomato ketchup, soy sauce and Dijon mustard. So let's put it all in. Now it doesn't really matter on the order, got the Dijon mustard. Just going to use like a teaspoon of that. Now I've measured out some soy sauce, so dark soy sauce, 100 ml. Then I've got my tomato ketchup. Now this bottle's 400 ml, so we need to use half of that. So just kind of roughly guess it out there. A bit more. Tomato ketchup's really good for making like marinades and sauces to go on the meat, because obviously it's tomatoey, it's got some nice flavours and it's a little bit sweet. So let's just stir that all together. I think I'll bring the heat up a little bit, just to try and get it bubbling again. Look at that, it's turned into a nice dark sauce. Just leave that for a minute or two, sort of bubbling away, get all those flavours out, and then you can switch it off and leave it to cool down. With the sauce, just going to give it a stir. It's a good time just to give it a taste. See how it is. Mind it'll be hot though. Oh yeah, it's got real depth of flavour. The one thing I'm going to add just a little bit of is a little bit more sugar. One and a tiny little bit, teaspoons, more sugar. So I think it just needs to be a little bit sweeter. But you know, adjust that to how you like it. Taste it. And if you like a little bit sweet, you can add a bit more sugar. If you don't like it so sweet, just leave it as it is. So now I've added that little bit of sugar, just to sweeten it down a touch, not very much. I'm going to switch it off now. and we can let that cool down. So let's just move that aside, let that cool down, and then once the meat's had its sort of second hour, we can pull it out, take the tin foil off, and then really put all this lovely sauce that we've made up on both sides of it. So let's let that cool down, and when it's time, pull out the meat from the oven. So I've got my sauce there. Now we've got quite a lot of sauce. Now the good thing about this sauce, you can use it as a sauce, which is what I'm going to brush onto the ribs, or you can use it as a marinade. So if you've got raw meat, you know, you can put all your meat in there and it'll give you a lovely flavour. Or you can use it as a dip. So it's all cooked, and if you've got your sort of ribs and you want to dip it in, or your chicken leg, or whatever you want, you know, you can dip it into this dip. It's delicious. So I've got my dip. Now what I'm going to do is just keep like half of that. Yeah, it's a bit of the ginger there. So I've separated them into two bowls. One I can use for a dip, and the other one I'm going to brush all over the ribs, and it'll be delish. Now I might as well take the ribs out because we've just about been cooking for the second hour. So let's kind of grab those. Smell really nice. Now again, let's just open this tin foil. See what's under there. Oh yes. Oh, that is just heavenly. Absolutely delicious. Now it's already sitting on the right side, the correct side, because I'm going to brush that side first, the underneath, and then I'm going to flip it over and put some more on there. Now I think what I might do is just empty a little bit of that sauce out there, that's, you know, the liquid at the bottom, because you can use that for a gravy if you want. Absolutely delicious. So I'm just going to tip a little bit of that out into a bowl. So next of all, I'm going to bring back the bowl of the sauce, and we're going to start brushing it on both sides of the ribs. This is the bowl that I'm going to use, half the quantity, and just going to initially put it on there like this. Let's just brush that all over. Now I'm going to turn this over, and we're going to do the top of it, the meaty part. So again, just going to put some of this sauce on the top. So now I've got the sauce on there, all the way around, everywhere has got some of this delicious sauce. Now what we're going to do is parcel it back up, the tin foil, and we're going to cook now for another half an hour. Now this time we're actually going to turn the temperature up to 200 degrees Celsius, 400 Fahrenheit, gas mark 5. So let's just parcel it up. Now what I'd like you to do is every 10 minutes, take it out of the oven, take the tin foil off, and then put some more of that really nice sauce and try and build it up. So let's put it back in the oven, and as I say, 200 degrees Celsius, another half an hour, every 10 minutes, take it out and put some more of that sauce on top. So I've had the ribs cooking at the higher temperature for about half an hour, and don't forget, every 10 minutes, take them out, put some more of that sort of really nice sauce on, and then put them back in the oven again. Now we've been cooking ours for half an hour, I'm going to take it out, unwrap it, put the last bit of that sauce on top, and then I'm going to put it under a medium grill for about 10 minutes. Now the reason I'm going to do that is just, I just want to build up a beautiful colour and just make it look really presentable. So I'm going to put the ribs under a medium grill for the last 10 minutes. What we're trying to do at this stage is really just get a little bit of colour on top and, you know, make them look really delicious. So keep an eye on them and make sure they don't burn. 10 minutes. So I've just taken my ribs out from under the grill, and I've got that sauce. Kept it in the fridge so it's cooled down nicely. It's starting to thicken up now. Look at that. Beautiful. Now this is the one we're going to use for dipping, but I'm actually going to put just a little bit more on the outside. Just going to spread that all over. Beautiful sauce. Well, it certainly looks good. So now we've got the last bit of sauce on there. What I'm going to do is finally cover it up one more time, just loosely this time, just like that.
leave that. And I'd say leave it for a good 15 minutes if you can, and it will just help to make the meat tenderise. And then we can serve it up, a little bit of salad or rice, whatever you want, and you'll have a wonderful dinner.
So we're near the end of the video now, so the final bit is the taste test. So let's see how it tastes.
Look at that. Lovely and moist. You can see the moisture in there. Hopefully if I'm bringing it a little bit closer for you. Beautiful and moist. Because you cooked it fairly slowly. And we've got all this lovely sauce on top, and this is going to be really good. I know it is. That is really, really nice. They are absolutely luxury ribs. Delicious. The flavours and the tenderness of meat. Oh, how do I show you? It just sort of pulls apart. Beautiful. This recipe for the ribs is absolutely scrummy. Definitely recommend it. There's so many lovely flavours in your mouth when you're eating that. It's just so good. Go and try it. Takes a little bit of time, but all good things will come to those who wait. So go and cook yourself a lovely meal. 2.5 hours, you'll have something beautiful. Serve it up, a little bit of rice, a little bit of salad. You can't go wrong. Thanks for watching my videos. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again soon. The original Naked Chef.